Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Dychronic, your host here on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be showing you where the Xur is for October 25th, 2019, everything that he has in his inventory, all the random rolls, all of my recommendations, and his location, for anybody who doesn't already know where he is. What a beautiful view here in Old Russia. You never really look out into the distance and see this beautiful landscape that we got going on. Anyways, you can find the Xur in his regular location in the tower, so just head over to the courtyard, make your way into the hangar, and in the top left section of the hangar can be found right here next to this little computer thing and these railings, and this landing pad should be pretty obvious when you get there. Here's a high overview of his inventory in case this is all you really cared about. Let's go ahead and talk about the weapon. Moving on to the weapon, we have the Suros regime, an old Destiny 1 favorite that came back in Warmind DLC. With some interesting bits to it and definitely some nostalgic, let's say, retro perks to it. Its first perk, called Suros Legacy, is bottom half the magazine deals bonus damage, which is just high impact reserves, and has a chance to return health on kills. On top of that, it also has the option of firing faster, doing less damage, or firing slower, doing more damage and better stability. On top of that, it also has a catalyst that you get and complete in the Crucible that I have not done yet, and it also has a lot of different ornaments. This is actually literally the first exotic that I've ever received in Destiny 1, so it's a bit nostalgic for me personally, and this is actually what it originally looked like. But personally, as far as meta goes, I still don't think that auto rifles really have a place. It doesn't really seem like, even though they got a buff recently, I don't know, I just like my hand cannons and SMGs better. Auto rifles are at that range that I prefer to have a pulse rifle over an auto rifle usually. Moving on to the Titan exotic, we have the Synthos, increase melee lunge range and improve melee and super damage when you're surrounded. Surrounded counts as 2 or more in Crucible or 3 or more in PvE. Now this actually used to be very good back before we didn't have very powerful special exotics that we got with Forsaken. This used to be like in the top 3 every single time for me, but I would definitely say it has fallen by the wayside. I would say the most important part about this thing is the fact that you get extra super damage, and that's 50% more super damage. And we used to use super on actually doing boss damage and clearing out enemies, and nowadays we have a lot more weapons to be able to handle that stuff. We have special weapons, and this is not as useful as it was before. So now more people use it for the increased lunge range and extra melee damage when you're surrounded, just for those PvP engagement. Oh yeah, and I forgot, it also has an ornament to make it look a little bit less weird, but you know, it's a very weird looking exotic. As far as the roles go, having a primary in strength is good synergy, resilience is also good synergy, and mobility also for being able to get to the target. I would say it's a good matched role for this kind of exotic, but this exotic is kind of averaging at best. Moving on to the Hunter exotic, we have Liar's Handshake coming out in the Joker's Wild DLC. Basically, when using your arc melee ability or being hit by a melee attack will allow you to follow up with an extremely powerful melee counterpunch that will heal you. Now, this has kind of been the new fad lately in the last couple of months. We're using the 1-2 punch combo from shotguns, where if you land every pellet in the shotgun spread, you get extra melee damage. After that, combining it with this, you used to be able to take out a primeval in nearly one hit or one melee attack, and it's been kind of a new fad, like I said. Personally, I'm not into melees. I never really got a 1-2 punch shotgun, so I haven't really tried it out. I can't make any recommendations, but a lot of people are very excited that the Xur is going to be selling it. As far as the synergy goes, having a primary in strength and mobility makes a lot of sense for this particular exotic, so it's a very good match for I would say an above average for a very specific niche thing. And finally, for the Warlock, we have the Geomag Stabilizers. Basically, when Chaos Reach super energy is almost full, sprinting tops it off, although that part's not really important. The second part, much more important, damaging enemies with Chaos Reach extends its duration. From my experience, anywhere from 50 to 100%. I haven't calculated it, but if you're damaging a boss the entire time with your Chaos Reach, it just kind of jumps up just 75% of the bar that you already lost using it, and it makes it last a lot longer, doing a lot more DPS, which is really nice to have. I would definitely say this thing is definitely more powerful after the nerfs to Direham Kara and the Nova Bombs in general. Chaos Reach as a super fast dump for damage is definitely a lot more viable these days. As far as the roles go, having a secondary in intellect is nice. However, I would like to see these points from mobility just go into intellect and have a closer to 20 intellect, because this is all about intellect, and you, on top of the fact that intellect is just amazing, and then not having very good recovery is always something that's a bit questionable. But it's a Warlock. They probably have a lot of other options for recoveries. And that's pretty much it. Make sure you're picking up your 5 of Swords if you want to get some point scoring Nightfalls for high score Nightfalls. Make sure you're picking up your Invitation of the Nine, which I've actually finished on this character for more lore. And then finally the Faded Engram, guaranteeing you a World Exotic from year 1 or year 2 if that you do not have. And that's it. That's the end of the video. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions, any concerns. Let me know if you're excited for the Halloween DLC, what you're going to be rocking. I got a nice little red boot thing going on. I didn't actually do that on purpose, but yeah, that's the end of it. Hope you guys did enjoy. My name's been Dychronic, and I will see you guys on the next one. Yay! First try. All right.